Wow, friends, we have hit the halfway mark. It's week 26 of the 52-week art journal journey. And here's a look back at some of our small art. Regardless of how many of our mini art projects you have or haven't done, if you wrote about what you wanted to get out of this for our first prompt, where we made our journals and this journey our own, take a look back. How's it going for you? Let's take some time to do our journaling before we hop into our art. Take some time to write about what you'd like to get out of this going forward. I promise to keep showing up. I'll keep making art to share with you and keep encouraging you to take time to art and establish a healthy habit of creative self-care. I'll keep making other art too. Maybe I'll finally find time to finish my first pattern collection. I'm pretty hooked on the idea of seeing more of my art on fabric. I will also keep reminding you of how much a difference reclaiming my creativity and making art on a regular basis has made for me. I regret allowing myself to believe that there were too many other more important things to do, though I knew how positively it impacted my mental and emotional health. When we're not exercising creativity in a way that is meaningful to us, we can't be as healthy as we could be. If you are new here, welcome. Our first prompt was to make our journals and this journey our own. You can find a link to that in the description. Feel free to move through the prompts in any order you'd like. If you'd like to start from here and keep up with one per week, or start from the beginning in the same way. You could do more than one prompt per week to catch up, or visit the prompts as you have time. I do encourage you to try to make art at least once a week, or at least on some regular basis. If you're not sure what the 52-week art journal journey is, check the description for a link. Back to today's journaling prompt. What have you gotten out of participation in the 52-week art journal journey so far? What did you hope to get out of it? And, maybe most importantly, what is your why for being here and going forward? If it's difficult for you to let go of your arbitrary concept of good, of the product, instead of getting lost in the process, you can be reminded that perfection is not only an impossible pursuit in our art journal, but counterproductive. By revisiting week 2, Let Go of Perfection. A link to this and the other videos I'm about to mention will be in the description. Have you ever purposely used art to express, process, and release emotion? If you'd like to take some time to practice expressing emotion in your art journal, revisit week 3, Drawing Emotion. Yes, really. And if you'd be interested in an art journal workshop on the topic, let me know. If you'd like to revisit my favorite art process when I feel like I may explode or have words I don't know what to do with for thoughts that won't stop spinning and bothering, if you're stressed and need to vent but want to turn the ugly words into something artistic and beautiful that can also remind you that emotions are valid and need to be acknowledged but not given the driver's seat, like in the Drawing Emotion video, but more actively venting, revisit week 4, Making Ugly Beautiful. I encourage you to use it as needed. If you haven't been here long, this halfway point is the perfect time to check out things you've missed or revisit a favorite. Though, if your time is limited, you will want to do this week's small art, as we will be using it in next week's prompt. Today you are going to need some painter's tape or masking tape. It has to be tape that can be peeled off after we're done with what we're using it for. We are also using watercolor paint again. So yeah, a round-tipped paintbrush and a container of water round out today's needed materials. The first thing we do is put 3 smallish pieces on our page. If you need a number, roughly 2 to 2.5 inches. Then we get out the watercolor paint. First, we paint blobs around our paper with clean water to have fun letting our colors blend. I used just the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, but I still enjoyed myself into creating a bit of mud, and that's okay. But we don't want too much mud. As I have in previous videos, I'm using my inexpensive Basic 8 color Crayola set because reclaiming your creativity doesn't need to cost a lot of money. I won't deny that adding to one's art supply stash is addictive. I'm sharing a list of things I'm looking at next if you'd like to try any of them out with me, or if you are familiar with using them, I'd love to hear your experience. With this week's small art, experiment. Have fun. Get lost in how the colors swirl through the water, how they dance and intermingle. When you are happy with the amount of color on your page, set aside your journal to dry. If you're finding that you have muddy puddles collecting on your edges, you can use the corner of a paper towel to absorb some of it. The last step for today is to set aside your journal to dry. We will be removing the tape next week, after some other arty fun on the page. Thank you for joining me for another small art and writing prompt. I appreciate the opportunity to encourage you to establish a healthy habit of creative self-care through art journaling. If you decide to share any of your work, though it's more appropriate to call it fun, I think, to encourage others to take time for creative self-care, be sure to tag me, Melinda Van Rye, so I can enjoy it too. You can also use the hashtag ArtJournalWithMelinda. Be sure to check the links in the description for more arty fun and encouragement.